Good morning. Welcome to Retro Toy Princess. I am Allison Troy. I apologize for the delay. For some reason, the phone is not cooperating. There we go. Excellent. All right. Sorry for the delay. Trying to get everything set up. We are doing, there's remodeling building happening. So if you hear drills or hammers or whatever, that is my studio being built, i.e. office, all the things. Booty traps. That's what you said. All right. Hello. Good morning, CJ. Meant with Card. Hello, Ria. Welcome. Good morning, Rolando. Alex, we were just chatting. Good morning, Todd. No worries. Thank you for the like. Muchly appreciated. And just in case anyone forgot, your weekly reminder, Moby is trash. All right, there we go. All right. So also, I forgot to plug in the phone that you are seeing this to. So about halfway through, I may have to switch out. But we're going to do the full 2 hours today because, frankly, I need it. So I'm working in this Goonies Official Coloring Book. The reason for that is I had hoped to have these scanned and print pages cleaned and printed. Alas, not yet. So we'll do something in this one today, but eventually I will have some pages from actual vintage Goonies coloring books. So some point I will get around to scanning those. So we do have those to look forward to, the actual vintage art. I probably will not finish this page today because it's a very complicated page, but I did like it. It's got pirate ship, it's got a bunch of jewels, it's got Steph, Data, and Mikey. So I thought this would be a good one to work on today. This one might be a whip where we have to finish it on a later stream, but that's okay. No shame there. Part of this is just me babbling incoherently today at y'all. So let's get started. I have chat pulled up on a couple different screens. So I will see it. I don't know how much I'll be able. I may not put everything up on screen, but I should be able to see everything. So I did print out, and I did it in a weird grayscale thing because I wanted to not grayscale, but a pixelated thing because I wanted to try to get some of the color of it. And there's obviously a lot of oranges, a lot of browns. So we're going to start with these yellows and these browns that have, this is a Tuscan red, that's a sienna brown, which has a lot of red in it. So I'm going to start with these, and I'm actually going to start with cream. I'm going to do basically all of the pirate ship in the background with this cream color. And then we'll build on top of that. So I'm going to do that light because the one thing about the paper in this book that I discovered when I did this one through the flip through is there's not as much tooth in this book as normally on the paper that I print myself. So I have to be a little bit lighter when I'm doing these early layers. So anyhow. Yeah, so I'm just going to start that. So it's going to be really kind of a little bit boring just at first because it's just putting this cream down. I don't even know how much that will register for you guys. But trust me, there's some color going down and it's just cream. It's like a step above white, but just under like a lemon yellow. So. And I'm not going to do this part. I'm just going to do this sort of grained parts of the wood in the background. There we go. And again, it's just so I can build up the color. And I know not all of you hang out for you like the actual coloring tips, and that's okay. This is just me easing into hanging out with y'all. So how is everyone's week going? Let's see. There we are. Perfect. Just everyone saying hello. So on the home improvement front, everything is going pretty well. With any luck, fingers crossed, by the end of this month, the last live stream I do will be in the new space. And it should be mostly all set up. So it'll be fun. I am going to do, once it's time to start setting up all of the shelves, I am going to do some collection videos. Just because what's the point of having all of this stuff if I don't show it off and brag about it a little bit? Other than the joy that it brings me, but it also appears like watch all the YouTube channels that I enjoy watching that are sort of in the corner that I'm in tend to do collection videos, and I like watching those. I like seeing, because there's the part of this, like everything that I do put on the channel, but my collection is a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's in my collection that I don't necessarily have content-wise, so it'll be fun to do. So, and I'm going to break it up. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do strictly some coloring book collection videos where I just do the coloring books, or if, like, say, when I do the Star Wars collection videos, if I'm going to include all of the Star Wars coloring stuff. If you guys have opinions about that, feel free to let me know what you would prefer to see. Do you want just coloring books all together and then the toys all together, or do you want to see it like all the She-Ra stuff together and all of the He-Man stuff or whatever? So, and you don't have to let me know today. You can think about it, but as I'm setting it up, it would make the most sense to do film stuff and do collection videos at that point. Excellent, Alex. Put that one up on screen really quick. Yeah, shorts have been doing better since they've fixed whatever it was about how they count the views. So it's nice to see, because usually whenever YouTube says, oh, we're going to adjust this thing, views go down, but this time they've actually gone up a little bit. So I think some of the shorts have not been doing as well lately from, I think, most people that I know that do shorts. And it seems like whatever YouTube did is actually getting shorts out to people who want to watch what we're making. And I noticed I scroll through shorts every so often on my own, and it actually sent me one of your shorts, Alex. Whereas normally I just get a bunch of, like I know this is not a diss against the kids. I know that they enjoy their brain rot and their weird dancing trends and whatever, but I don't ever engage with that. I engage with sort of all the toy shorts, all of the art shorts. And half the time YouTube used to push all of that. And I've noticed since whatever they did to tweak it, when I go in, they're actually sending me the kind of shorts I engage with and I enjoy watching. So there has been less to swipe. So I'm hoping whatever they did benefits everyone, including those who watch shorts, where they're actually getting content they want to see. Because I can tell you, there's nothing that annoys me more than going in to watch shorts and getting a bunch of... And again, I'm old, like these trends are not for me, and I don't at all feel like, oh my God, these kids get... It's like it's not for me. Yeah, and the kids who enjoy it, good for them. But, they should have stuff they like watching. Just like I want stuff that I would enjoy watching. And it's nice to actually scroll through the shorts feed and see stuff from Alex and from Brick and from Cobweb, Collector. So hopefully it continues so that I can start using watching more YouTube shorts, because I had stopped watching them very often because it was just stuff I didn't care about. So it's a nice thing about TikTok is that if you engage enough with stuff, that's what they will send you, which is partly why my TikTok has been Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray TikTok for a couple weeks now. I've spent too much time engaging with her. Well, not her per se, but the content about her. So, but yeah, so I'm hoping, again, it was nice that I went through, sat and spent some time watching some YouTube shorts the other night. They even sent me one or two of my own shorts, which was nice. Because I've never before seen them in the wild. So I actually got to, it was older ones too. So I was like, oh, I don't even film like that anymore. So I think I'm coming up on my 2 years of YouTube. So I might go back as, because, you have to do those videos. I've been on YouTube for 2 years and here's what I've learned. I think instead of doing sort of straight up that, I might actually go in and reprint the pages for the first 7 shorts that I did and redo those and like compare the two to see how much I've improved. So, because I was very much watching those first 7 shorts like, oh no, that's bad. Girl, where is your lighting? It's like I had one little tiny ring light that I sort of had pointed at the page. They're also dark. So to everyone who found me and has been watching me since the early days, thank you for hanging in whenever it looked like shit. Good morning, Kenzo. Welcome. Lovely to see you. Good morning, Radical Toys. Hello. Amazing to see. I need to ping you about some stuff. So we'll get to that at some point this week. Alright, we are caught up on chat. I'm just now going in with the Tuscan Red over those yellows and creams and hoping I can make this work as well as it worked in my head. But it's also, I'm not doing necessarily layers. I'm doing sort of building the color that should make my layers later. So. It's a lot of wood grain in this page, obviously. Pirate ships. That is the one thing I will say that is different about sort of adult coloring books made now versus the ones that I normally color in for the channel that are for when we were kids, is that the pages in the adult coloring books are so detailed that it would be really hard to make. I mean, I've turned a few of the long form ones that I've done for long form videos. I've like sped it up to a minute to release as a short. But in general, it takes like 6 to 8 hours often to do a page like this. And that's a long time because I'm impatient. And so, but I'm probably going to start. I've got a couple fun adult coloring books that I had picked up. So I'll probably do a few more in books like this. There are a few properties that didn't have coloring books back in the day that do have them now. Like, for instance, I've got a Back to the Future coloring book, and I can't even find a Back to the Future coloring book for the cartoon that was on for a little bit. Yeah, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm on the internet pretending I'm important. What are you doing, buddy? Augustus, my love bug, has come in to register the complaint that he is unfeeded, even though he got treats about an hour and a half ago. I let him have a little bit of my sausage biscuit, and he also stole half of Matt's blueberry donut this morning. So he's living his dream. But normally I close the door completely for streams, but with the noise, he often comes in here and hides. So Gus may register complaints more today, and that's welcome to my life. The life I don't often show. Excellent. That's weird. Good morning, Rowdy. Lovely to see you. Again, this is because I think this is, I don't know, like the second or third stream I've done since I discovered Rowdy's amazing channel. If you're not following Rowdy, please go do so. Her channel is amazing. Definitely worth. Again, I'm gonna keep promoting it and like talking about it. But Rowdy did a really fun Secret Wars. The original comic book Secret Wars explanation using all of the action figures from Marvel Legends from Secret Wars. It was the best hour and a half I've spent watching something on YouTube, and I actually got to just sit there and watch it. Usually I have stuff on when I'm working on pages, but it just lined up that I was sort of in a funk for various reasons. And it was just nice to sort of sit there and feel entertained. And I'm not I was more DC growing up than I was Marvel. So a lot of the Secret Wars was when, because my dad would bring comic books home when he worked at 7-Eleven and was working through college. So he brought me X-Men and Spider-Woman. And I was really, really traumatized when he brought home the issue where Phoenix dies. This Dark Phoenix. So I stopped reading Marvel comics for a long, other than Star Wars. I stopped reading Marvel comics because they just broke my heart. And of course, DC killed Supergirl and Crisis and all. But I was a lot older at that point. So although I cried, I didn't hate DC forever. I still have resentment toward Marvel for doing that to me as a kid. Jean Grey was so cool. So anyway, though, long story short, go watch Rowdy's Secret Wars video because it's a lot of fun. And it taught me stuff I didn't know about Marvel. I did, and Alex knows this because I kind of peer pressured Alex into buying it. But there's a Marvel coloring book that I just ordered. Sorry, Alex. I know I'm about influence, but it's got some great pictures in it. And Alex sent me a picture of, there's a Spider-Woman in there that's from the first cover, and I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait to get that and turn that one into some sort of video or something. So anyway, there will be some Spider-Woman content finally. Well, and double so because I found a coloring book recently that has Julia Carpenter, Spider-Woman, so I'm going to do it short, I think, with that. I need to add a background because that's too plain. But anyway, for you, those of you who enjoy Marvel, there will actually be a little bit more Marvel coming. And when I unpack, I'm sure I will find all of my Jessica Drew Spider-Woman figures. I've got that, what is it, like 4 points of articulation Spider-Woman from Toy Biz from back in the day. They repainted like 30 times into, like, I think Invisible Woman. They did Julia Carpenter with it. All kinds of characters. Toy Biz was unashamed about repaints. And we all loved it, and now we all complain whenever they, like, Hasbro reuses, like, a torso. how spoiled we have all gotten as adult toy collectors in the last 30 years. I know, I'm just trying to give you an excuse. Well, thank you, Jamie, and you have a magical day as well. And Jamie also has a fun coloring channel, guys. Go check that out. I need to start getting links. That would be pretty good if they did one. You have. I don't know what all Marvel you also. I mean, I'm gonna assume you have most of the Legends, Marvel Legends, right? So what's it call you? I was about to mush your first and last name. I don't know your full collection from Marvel, but if you did sort of, depending on what X-Men figures you have, I could imagine if you did some of the classic X-Men storylines in that method, that would just, especially right now with everyone wanting to dive back into X-Men, I would bet some X-Men episodes, Spider-Man, any Spider-Man, the classic storylines. I mean, that's the stuff I enjoy on YouTube. So I'm slightly biased, but I just like when people are really sort of creative about. I like the lore, I like the history, I like, like the videos I make are 100% because I would go on YouTube and this was the stuff I wanted to watch and no one was making it. And there's so much I want to make, but good Lord, who has time? But that's the kind of, and that's why your Secret Wars video just so won my heart. It's exactly what I wish I was seeing more on YouTube. Like I get that, like people need the clicks, they need the views, but I would just love to see more creativity happening on YouTube. And I say this as somebody who, like Andrew and Derek and myself often with guests will do sort of like what's happening in toys this week. We'll do the retro cavalcade every so often, and we did the She-Ra rewatch, and we're hoping to do more She-Ra rewatch episodes this year for 40 years of She-Ra. But a lot of people do that, and it's like, it's nice whenever I find channels that are doing stuff that is not just that. And, I follow a lot of channels that do just that. But I don't see a lot of channels that are really doing that original enough that I need to watch more channels like that. I don't know. I like, YouTube is a really interesting platform where there's a lot of ways we can share our, like build community. I've built amazing communities in a couple different places here on YouTube. And it's just something that it's not even the same like back when Facebook was usable. Back when Twitter existed still, like there were ways to build communities, but it's still different on YouTube just because you can do long form videos. And TikTok is fun, but it's harder to build an actual, in my humble opinion, an actual community on TikTok of people that, I mean, I guess the people who do lives on TikTok where they sit and talk could probably, but there's so much push now on those lives for the gifting and the like treats and all of that it feels like the money side of it gets in the way. There's just this aggressive push on TikTok lately I am a tiny creator on TikTok. I mostly just post there to post there. So I have some sort of a footprint. And they're constantly like, you should buy this to promote your channel. And it's like, I'm good. Like, I don't necessarily think that I'm not necessarily making something that fits into the TikTok. And again, that's not like I am not sad about that. It's a specific platform and it's got and I'm not quite the right fit. There are ways I could switch stuff up and be a better fit for TikTok. But that's, again, TikTok is just its own thing. And I don't begrudge anyone who does that. I'm just saying, like, I wish more people were really utilizing YouTube the way it can be used. And being really creative and doing, like I like a good, especially when I'm sitting here filming shorts, I like having a good, like, 30 to 40 minute something to deep dive into, like, be it true crime, be it history, be it whatever. It's just really nice to have something where somebody's like, I feel like I'm being taught and I'm able to learn something, or I'm being entertained, or anything like that. So, long story short, Riley, just use your action figures to tell more, like, stories, more history. If you have fan fiction with, Marvel characters or Star Wars or whatever, that would be rad too. So I just would love more creativity from everyone. And that video was so good that I can't imagine that you don't have, way more stuff like that you could do. So. Good morning, Shannon. Hello. How are you today? Lovely to see Shannon. Shannon also, not on the, well, I can't say that fully. Shannon does sometimes, the little chibis of the Disney, she does collect those and open those on stream sometimes. But Shannon is mostly the adult coloring side of things, and one of my favorite places to put on whenever I'm working and just listen and pop in the chat and occasionally say out of pocket stuff, as I do. So I'm almost done sort of putting down all this background color. This is sort of the boring part, but it's necessary for the overall composition of everything. There we go. All right, our basic background is achieved. I did not tape it down because these books are hard to tape, so I do apologize if it's going to shift a little bit. I will try to keep looking up to make sure that it does not shift off screen. Again, I'm going to keep talking about it because it's exciting, but in the new studio, I'm going to have a clipboard built in so that I'll be able to, even for a book like this, be able to sort of clip it down. So that'll be exciting. I'm excited, y'all. Like, it'll be really nice to have, finally, after decades of being in tiny apartments, saving up for us to get a house, like, we're finally going to have the setup that, like, we both want. So that will be exciting because I'm technically in his man cave right now. So he'll be able to set up his big screen TV and his video game systems and all of his Expanse books. So it'll be good. And it looks like the cat is passed out at my feet, so he is chill, so he's not going to bother us for a little bit. But anyhow. But yeah. I appreciate you too, Shannon. There are way too many people who are on this internet with an inflated sense of self-worth, and it's nice. Whenever I pop into one of your chats, and you don't do so in a rude way, but just matter of factly when you're sort of calling out cruddy behavior, and it's just nice to see. So I also don't feel like I have to filter myself so much in chat whenever it's Shannon's channel, because as you all know, I have a hot take or two about behaviors. So Like we were at the grocery store on Friday getting groceries, and some girl looked at me, and I just looked at her. I'm like, "It's okay. You don't need to have that funk look on your face." And she was offended, but she didn't need to stop looking at me. And then I realized I was blocking the beans, and she was just trying to get a can of beans. So, but still, she could have just said, "Hi, could you move your giant forehead and your fat ass?" And I would have done that. So. And then she could have got her pinto beans. Okay. Yep. It looks like that. I'm happy with how the wood grain is coming along. So it looks pretty nice. I bet y'all didn't think you were going to spend all this time this morning looking at wood grain. But this is why I literally put the picture in the thumbnail so you would all know what you were in for. All right. See what is happening right? Oh, yikes. Right? We need to just start it. I was joking to Matt last night when I was talking about, like the stream. Like, there's going to be a lot of wood grain. And then I was just like, I should start a channel that it's like coloring wood grain, and that's all it is coloring wood grain. Like every picture that has wood grain, and then just stop after all the wood grain is colored. I could probably get at least 9 subscribers to that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I do think about. Like, what weird, strange, niche channel could I create that nobody would care about? So that when people are like, there's a channel for everything, I can be like, you are not wrong. There literally is a channel for everything. I've got one for wood grain, but just coloring wood grain in pages, not actual wood grain. I mean, I watched a channel the other day that was all about this girl's life, and I'm going to say, like, wood grain, much more interesting than anything happening in her life. So what I have to say to the vlog people, like, I get that, like, it's fun, but there's some stuff the internet just doesn't need to know. And if, like, the most exciting part of your day is, like, your toast, maybe that doesn't need to be, that to me is an Instagram post with the picture of your toast. Like a nice picture of the toast, and like, I had this delicious toast, it was good. I don't know that it needs a 30-minute YouTube video talking about how excited you are about that toast. I mean, again, that might be judgmental. There also could be something going on with that channel that I was missing. Like, it might be like for, like a spicy site, and that's how and there could be an entire subgenre of people who, like, part of what makes them happy, that's the word we're going to use. Part of what makes them happy is 30 minutes of boring toast talk, and then, they go get the spicier content elsewhere where she adds cinnamon to the toast. Here I am putting butter and cinnamon on my toast. Watch me eat this piece of chicken dipped in honey. I would probably watch that, because honey chicken is good. Right, the wood grain channel. I'm just saying that might be fun. Like, that should be all of our 2025 goals. We all go start a really weird niche channel that's like strange stuff, and not like strange, but just like, You know, like, here, welcome. This is my collection of bolts, not, you know, nuts and bolts, just bolts. You know, it'd be funny. That's what I should do next year for April Fool's Day. I should make a video where I'm like all wood grain all the time. Do you like watching people color wood grain? I've got the channel for you. And it's a year away, so I have plenty of time to, you know, get like a theme song and some B-roll footage and have a big old opening. I should learn the dance from the beginning of Blossom and then like use that over, sort of like interject that into the footage of like the wood grain. All right, thanks, Alex. You just gave me a big idea. I will credit you as co-creator on the April Fool's Day wood grain channel. All right, it's time to sharpen this bitch. All right, pencil sharpener warning because my hand is acting up, so no hand sharpening today. So yes, it does sound like an electric drill, but hey, yeah, could sound worse. And I told y'all we were done with the wood grain, but yet here we are. So I just meant we were done with the underlayers. I still have to go in with darker brown. And oh, thank you, pencil sharpener. This pencil sharpener is gonna make me have to hurt my hand. All right, I'm gonna mute so you don't hear the grimace of pain. And we're back. I only shouted obscenities twice, so you can use your imaginations which ones. But both of them would probably get me demonetized, so. And the whole broken leg, probably my fault, because when my hand hurts, I do tend to hold it poorly in even the electric sharpener, so. That was all on me. All right, there we go. And also, what I have found though is when my hand hurts, if I actually do color for the day, it feels better at the end of the day for some reason. Like it's like physical therapy. Because in the beginning, I was just like, no stream today, or I'm not going to color today, and then my hand would feel worse for days. And then I started just kind of pushing it, and like it would loosen it up. So for me, it acts as exercise. It's my own personal therapy. And so it just, for whatever reason, the act of twisting the pencil and the sharpener for the hand sharpening gets me. I need to get one of the fancy ones like we used to have in school with a hand crank. So life goals. But I actually should be able to do that when I have everything set up, because I could actually bolt that to the work table. Y'all, I'm gonna have a work table. You just don't understand. I mean, some of y'all probably do, so. But I am trying to resist using this stuff, the savings I have set aside for like office furniture, to not buy a Miss Pac-Man machine. So y'all, it's y'all's job over the next 4 to 6 months. Anytime I mention buying a Miss Pac-Man machine, telling me don't do it yet, because I've got better, more important office equipment that I need to, stuff that I actually need for like my day job. So if I mention buying that Miss Pac-Man machine, All of y'all's job is to say, not yet. 2016 goals, Allison, 2016. Or if I win the lottery. If I win the lottery, all bets are off, and everyone who helps me not buy the Miss Pac-Man machine until 2026. Or, oh, I was saying 2016. Good Lord, I wish. 10 years younger me would be less crotchety every morning. But yeah, so if I win the lottery, everyone who helps me be smart about not getting that Miss Pac-Man machine until 2026. Good Lord. I will send you something. Because it's lottery. I'll have enough lottery money that I can buy you something nice. I'll buy you wood grain. Olives. Oh my God, that would be great too. Speaking of olives, at some point I need to do this short. So anyway, just saying, at some point I need to color those olives and do it as a short to congratulate Kenzo on, because he had his 1,000 subscribers. So I keep meaning. And since Kenzo and Cobweb have been the ones that helped me resurrect the olives, Cobb by sending me the original reel, and then Kenzo constantly sending me pictures of himself buying the olives. Oh, this wood grain is coming together nicely. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. It would just be all wood grain all the time. But again, not really like, here's how you work with this particular kind of wood grain. Oh no, that's too fancy. No, this would just be like, here are this week's favorite 7 pictures I found on the internet of wood grain. Look at this old station wagon. Ooh, paneling. Oh yeah, this has got potential. I need to just put that on my Sassfault. I haven't put anything up on my other channel, the Sassfault. And I feel like maybe the wood grain, it would be a good ongoing joke over there. Because then I don't have to, you don't have to necessarily fully commit to making all wood grain content all the time. I would just make it when I feel up to it, whenever it cracks me up. And frankly, that's the best kind of joke, one that makes you laugh. Other people get it, good for them, but I always try to entertain myself first. And if other people like it, then that's exciting. And if they don't, oh well. They can go find a more serious wood grain channel. Yeah, uh-oh. Well, hi. The little runt of the family is in. Yeah. Look, everyone, it's a cat. Yeah, run, little cat. Anyway. He just climbed up in my lap to let me know that I should feed him, even though it's not time. Of course, he got fur all over. Sorry for the cat fur, y'all. But anyway, surprise cat cameo. That is the kitten. He's almost 2 years old, but that's as big as he's gonna get. He was the runt of his litter, and he bounces and flies around like he's a squirrel. So. And that little shrill shriek you just heard, if I tell him no or to get out of something, he talks back in that shrill little squeak. So it's like having a teenager who never leaves the house. And I say that as a teenager who never left the house and made my mom's life miserable for a long time. There was one time my mom rubbed up, like we were rearranging the room, and I had I had an old set of bunk beds in there, and it was positioned between, like, so that there wasn't much wiggle room between the dresser and the bunk beds. And when she was trying to squeeze through them, it made a fart sound. And my mother is one of these women who has never farted in her entire life. And so when she was going through it, rubbed and it made that fart sound. And I'm like, oh my God, Mother, did you fart? And of course she was like, no, I've never done that. So anyway, I relentlessly teased my own mother. I was like 10 or 11. I relentlessly teased my mother for the rest of her life about that one time she farted. And if you ever doubt my commitment to a joke or a bit, whenever I went to see her at the end of her life, she was hooked up to machines and she couldn't talk. She had a tube in her mouth, but she was responsive and she could hear. And I was holding her hand and I was like, do you remember that time we were cleaning and you farted? Y'all, she could not talk. She had the tube, in her mouth to help her breathe. She could not talk. Oh my God, she was so mad. She just squirmed and oh my God, it was the best. She could still write, so she made me give her a piece of paper and she wrote down, that's not what happened. So anyway, that was one of the last times I hung out with my mom before she passed. And I, to this day, will not ever, her ghost right now is probably gonna haunt me later because I still to this day insist she actually farted that day. Nothing will convince me otherwise. So anyway, that's my commitment to a bit, y'all. Not even a deathbed, if it cracks me up, can get me to back down. So anyway, my mom farted one time. It was like 10 or 11. Good morning. Hello. Lovely to see you, Christina. Yeah, he runs. He doesn't want to be on camera because he knows he's adorable, but he was up here trying to climb all over me, so I'll go feed him early. These cats are always unfeeded, no matter how much food they get. They're gonna be sad in a couple weeks because we're ordering those food, the feeders that you set on a timer, so it releases food at a certain time. So, but it does mean they'll harass me more and they'll just pretty much sit there and try to break the machine and get into it. So, and that's fine. There we go. It's a pretty good one, I will say. I mean, till the end, I would not relent. But that also says a lot about my relationship with my mother and hers with mine. So it's not like that was just out of the blue. That was the dynamic. So, but I adored her. She was a good mom. She was not always a great mom, and she was not always the best mom, but she was a good mom. She did the best she could with how messed up she was. So. And it's been it's been like 13 years since she passed, so it's been long enough to not feel quite as salty about everything as I once did. But yeah, so my mom farted one time. I will never. I wish my dad would have let me put that on her tombstone, but alas, my dad was like, just let it go. But anyway. All right, there we go. All right, the wood grain is looking very wood grainy. Excellent. And although it seems like I would want to work on something else, nope. 15 minutes in and we're still working on the wood grain. But we're not going to work as much. I'm just going to go in with this dark brown and just sort of darken some of it sporadically. There we go. Just get some of the corners of it. But I remember as a kid, the 7 times I saw the Goonies at the theater. And then watching it since, there's a lot of reds and browns, even in this, and like yellows. So, and all the pictures I looked at online sort of had those same color scheme. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to go with, is just kind of keep it all orange and brown and red and yellow. Which will be easy because all this gold stuff is going to be in those shades. So I did rewatch the Goonies last week. Not necessarily because I was doing this, just because I rewatch the Goonies every so often. Because it's one of my favorite movies. But it still has sort of that palette for the most part once they go underground. Alright. Just a little bit in there. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, just trying to take a step back to get a good look to figure out what. It's hard to see like right here. I normally when I'm filming stuff often take steps back. So. Should probably go get my glasses checked. It's probably time for a new prescription. Excellent. Oh, wait, we already did that one. Okay, cool. We are still caught up. Just want to make sure. All right. Coming along. Sorry, I'm up in my head. I apologize. We're just reaching a point of the wood grain where it's like I'm lost in the sauce. I think that's how they would say it, right? All right. Nice. And just this over here, and then we are going to work on some stuff that isn't wood grain. Oh no, you're fine. No worries there. All right. We are taking a brief. There's still technically wood grain here, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that the light fixture is also made out of wood. But for now, I'm gonna work first on a little bit of window there, and then we're going to start on some golden stuff. So, because I need a break from all the wood grain. This is where like I would end a video on the wood grain channel, and I'd be like, "See you all next time. Hope everything stays wooden." Yeah, that would be a terrible sign off. So definitely I will use that when I do the wood grain April Fools video. Keep it woody. Yeah, that'll work. I'm going to go a little bit not so screen accurate for the window panes. I'm going to do some aquas and some blues here. Just to help break up some of the monotony of all that wood grain. You kids and your wood grain. All right, there we go. Using a lot of turquoises and put in some more green. Yeah. All right, there are our windows. Oh, let's do that thing again. All right. Do the candles real quick. For those, I'm just going to do cream, and then I'm going to go in with some yellows and sort of color it. I forgot to look when I rewatched it what color the candles are. I'm just going to assume white candles. And if that's not accurate to the movie, oh well. Right here. I'm going with Deco Yellow and just add a little extra color to these. Excellent, Kenzo. I'm not sure why it's all blurry. I'm going to fix that in a second. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. Oh, that would be why. All right, so I'm going to switch out cameras really quick. So it's going to go dark just for a second. And we're back. There we go. Excellent. All right. Sorry about that. Just forgot to charge the other one, and that one's the better one to start with. So. But this one should be good for the rest of the time today. All right, candles. So I'm going to do the metal part of the candles, and we're going to do those in like a steel color. Just because I don't necessarily know that they would have used like gold or bronze for the candle, the candelabra, whatever it is. I guess it would technically count as a chandelier, but maybe not. I am ridiculously uneducated on lighting. The names of stuff, anyway. I mean, I know how light works, obviously. Necessarily know the names of all the lighting fixtures. I did art class instead of interior design. But I also think this will look better once we get to all the gold down here. Oh, nice. Do not understand what. It's because whatever it is, I need to just end my StreamYard. Because for whatever reason, since their update, it will not focus unless there's an actual face. Which of course throws everything off. Can't very well appreciate what's going on if it won't focus. All right, I'm gonna exit out and see if I can get it to work. All right, let's hope this works. Part of it is when I connected in, I forgot to accept the cookies, and for whatever reason, if you don't accept the cookies, the camera won't focus, which is really dumb. And because it shouldn't have any control. Like, I have autofocus technically turned off so that when I film, it doesn't do that. But for whatever reason, when StreamYard gets in there with my camera, on the camera phone anyway, it's constantly trying to focus. It's basically trying to look for a face, and I technically get it because most people who use a streaming platform are, of course, looking at a camera and talking. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but it's basically dumb. And I've sent them a few complaints, and they're like, oh, it shouldn't do that. It's like, well, it does, Carl. It does. His name was not Carl, but he was acting like a Carl. So, Carl he shall be. And it's just like, well, that's what it's doing. You can't tell me that that's not what it's doing when that's literally what it's doing. Would you like to watch the streams where this happens, Carl? He did not. So, I mean, he did ask for some, like, examples, and I did send him a few clips, but he was like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, I agree. Fix it. So, I'm going to be trying, testing out Streamlabs, because, frankly, I pay way too much through StreamYard for such lackluster service. There are a plethora of better services, and I just got my use of plethora for the day. I try to use plethora in a sentence once every day. Oh, snap. All right, well, I missed some wood. Technically, it's wood grain, but kind of not. So I'm going to fix that really quick. Here we go. Oh, hello, Andy. Andrew. Sorry, Tim Goonies on the brain. And Darren is here. Hello, Darren. 3-star draw. Yeah, no, we didn't end the stream. Just StreamYard and the phone are they're being total Carls. All right. So yeah, now we have to do the chandelier. I'm going to start with the darker brown here. Just so that it doesn't blend in and get lost in all this other wood grain. And we're back to wood grain, y'all. It was April 6th, 2025, the day that we couldn't stop talking about wood grain. I mean, at least we're not talking about Moby. So, or Phil Collins. Anyway. Well, you know, yeah, it's true. Always a Carl. I'm doing well. How are you, Darren? Definitely should. I can imagine. Wine night, my recommendation to anyone, my recommendation to anyone is once you turn 40, stop drinking wine. It's not going to go well. You're going to have a bad time. Like, it does not go well. Your body is not equipped for wine. Just stick to vodka. Vodka and Long Island iced tea. Also, after 25, no one is supposed to drink tequila. No one. I can't even look at tequila now without kind of throwing up a little in my mouth. Tequila is for the young people, everyone. Let them have it. Let them make the mistakes of our youth. And that way, when they're like, why didn't anyone warn us? We can just be like, he wouldn't have listened anyway. So that's you learning your lesson on this one yourself, Tiger. Andrew, it has been a little persnickety the last few days, so. I did not. Rowdy, I one time tried to send to a client a text message stating, just talking about how autocorrect always throws me under a bus because I had sent a message in text and it changed something. And what I tried to send to our client who was in her 60s and very, very prim and very proper. I tried to send the message, autocorrect threw me under the bus, and autocorrect changed it to Bussy, Bussy. And I'm going to tell you, there are just certain things that there's no way to, oh my God, autocorrect did me dirty. There's just some things that, yeah. So, yeah, I feel you with the autocorrect. I've been there, done that, got me embarrassment. We even did that one time with my friend Muriel when I was trying to explain what had happened, and it autocorrect still got, and me trying to say, oh, all I was trying to say was it threw me under the bus. It still got me. So Muriel got to witness firsthand autocorrect throwing me under a bussy. And if you are watching this and don't know what that is, make sure you put safe search on before you search for that, or just go to the Urban Dictionary and type it in yourself. Don't Google it. That's my recommendation for you if you're at all confused why that might be a confusing situation to find yourself in over text message with a very prim and proper 60-year-old client who's a behavioral health provider. So, I mean, most of you here have been here long enough that I know you know exactly what that is. But if you don't, again, Urban Dictionary, Google Urban Dictionary and then look it up once you're on the site. Do not, our safe search. No pictures. Don't go into the picture and look for it that way. Even with safe search on, I don't think that would be safe to go in the pictures. So don't image search it at all. Especially if you're around like your grandkids or whatever. Like, don't do that. 10 out of 10, do not recommend it. Oh my God, yes, you are all my people for a reason. Oh, I adore you all. You guys do not know, like, you know, because of the construction and everything, it would have been really easy to be like, hey guys, I'm not going to stream this morning, but I have come so much to appreciate even days where it's just me, like, hanging out here. I didn't have a guest because I wasn't sure, depending on the state of construction, if I would be able to stream. So I'm like, I'll just schedule it as a solo stream. That way, if I do, you know, because if the power, you know, they have to turn your power out sometimes when they're redoing stuff. So if that happened, it wouldn't be letting somebody, you know, like, sorry, I had you arrange your schedule. And so, yeah, I didn't do that. But I did have a moment this morning. It's like, maybe I should just take the morning and edit some stuff or whatever. But I was like, no, I really want to hang out with my friends. You know, my social media, parasocial friends. Although most of you at this point are like, we've chatted enough that I don't feel like that's even applicable. So some of y'all are my ride or dies at this point, and I appreciate y'all immensely. And I'm glad most of you exist so that I can send you too many reels on Instagram at 3 a.m., Kenzo. What's shady though, Kenzo, is whenever the last time I tried to, because I'm still awake often at 3 a.m. writing. I tried to send you a reel. You had sent me a reel within like 3 minutes, and when I tried to send it back, Instagram was like, "It's really late. Are you sure you want to send this tonight?" And I'm just like, "Oh, you bitch." So I sent like 7 reels back to back because Instagram is not going to tell me what to do. And so, all right. I think the little chandelier stands out a little bit. I'm going to darken it a little bit more at the edges though, so that it doesn't completely fade in. All right, very good. Excellent. That fixed it. Isn't completely lost. Yeah, and this is my point though, Andrew. Instagram asking me about shady life choices, like at the same time, if I really stopped and answered that question, I would get off of Instagram. So it's like they need to just chill the F out. Like, come on, guys. Excellent. I see you do not know the Pandora's box you just opened, Mental Card. And I send, like, if I see, sometimes I will watch a reel and it's messed up, and I'm like, I can't believe I just watched that. I need to send it to other people so they can also suffer the way I have just suffered. So I am not I am not somebody who believes that cheese stands alone. If I see something messed up, I'm going to send it to at least 5 people so they can also share in the secondhand horror of it all. But it becomes firsthand horror when you open it and watch it. So if you at all are upset by the sight of people like eating it, like when they're skateboarding and they fly off and slam into a wall or they fall or whatever, just remember you told me I could send you reels. Just saying. Derek Hoover learned that one the hard way. And then he made the mistake of saying, "Oh, these like kind of make me feel bad." And I was like, "Oh, do they know?" So of course I just tried to send him the best of the best. Just so that he can enjoy the goodness of pain. So anyhow. We're going to put One-Eyed Willie's chair. We're going to make it all gold. I don't think it was gold in the movie, but for today's purposes, we're going to make it gold. Because if I do more wood right here, the chair is just going to be completely lost. So, contrary to what I'm going to say on the wood grain channel when I launch that, there is in fact a place where you can have too much wood grain in your life, and you want to be careful of that. Use your wood grain responsibly. All right, we've got Willie's gold chair right there. Very nice. Yeah, she's one of my favorite. Anyone here right now that I send reels to know 100%. What do I know? I'm just some bitch, and everybody's so creative are two of my favorite creators. So yeah. Yeah, they don't send me. Well, the problem is when they try to send me down the conspiracy rabbit holes, I do the not interested, or I report them as misleading and untrue. So they stop sending you those if you do that enough. Because the algorithm can be taught. But if you just like swipe away or whatever, or you watch it long enough to for Instagram to register that you paid attention to it for like 25 seconds, they will send you more of it because that's 25 seconds you watched it and engaged. So if you end up getting stuck, like you didn't realize it was a conspiracy theory at first, click not interested and then report it as fraudulent and misleading, and then they will stop sending those to you. And that's the secret to like decreasing the crap that they send you if you don't actually enjoy it. And so, all right. So one eye Willie's little jacket here is very sort of just a blob. So I'm not going to try to do a lot of the detail work on it. It's okay. It's also so side quest over here that I'm just going to put some reds down on it and mostly leave it as is. All right, excellent. Yeah, they still haven't fixed Alex's Instagram, and it makes me very sad and annoyed. Because there are some stuff that I would only send to Alex, and I'm just gonna say there's some stuff that like not everyone gets all the same stuff. So I try to curate and I try to be selective. And there's some stuff that is coded Alex that nobody else I know would at all enjoy, or would be horrified enough by for me just to send it. So that is sort of the criteria. Do I think you will be entertained by it? Do I think it will horrify you? Do I think it's something you would like? Is it something horrible that I have seen and somebody else has to see? So, and usually I'm only going to share the horrors with somebody that I actually like, because then we can be in therapy together. If I don't like you, I'm probably not going to send you something that horrified me, because then you know what gets my goat, and you never show your enemies that kind of weakness. Like if it's your enemy, you send them stuff that you enjoy, so that way if they think, oh, well, this is how I'm going to get that bitch, then they send you stuff you like. And then they don't succeed in their plan. It's like my ex, if he actually thinks I'm happy without him, he'll try to like come back. But as long as he thinks that I kind of miss him a little bit, he leaves me alone. This is Carl number 4. And he does not watch this because this is too much art for him. His brain cannot process art. He also never got puns. He's like, I don't understand puns. And this is the worst part. I would share with him Far Side cartoons. And the Far Side is one of my favorite things. And he's like, I don't ever get those. I don't understand them. I mean, I should have known right then. Should have been my, instead of like waiting another year and a half I should have, the second he was like, I don't get the far side, I should have been just like, well, I'm out. Have a good life, Carl. Number 4. Many happy returns. We have some lovely parting gifts. I'm going to take all of your ice cream, which is what I did. Whenever we did finally break up, on my way out, I took all of the ice cream and all of he had a box of corn dogs. Because you should get some parting gifts if somebody is a terrible enough person that you dated. Like, I think it's fair. It's like a game show you didn't win, but you still get some lovely parting gifts at the end of it. And the corn dogs were pretty good. So I had really nice, expensive mustard that I would eat those with. Even the cheapest corn dogs are so good if you have the right mustard. And ice cream, you just can't go wrong with. Even like butter pecan is acceptable. Although I will say, when I was a kid, I hated butter pecan ice cream. As I get older, I think it's an old person thing. Okay, I don't think young people are intended to enjoy butter pecan. I just think it's one of those grown-up people things, and that's okay. Again, like, there's stuff that's not for the kids. They never do. And that's what's interesting about that, is they do have a few exes who are artistic, and they've never been named Carl. Like in the stories that I tell, because they're not all actually Carl. There were 2 Carls out of the 7 people that I refer to as Carl 1 through 7. 2 of them were actual Carls, and they were back to back. The other 5 are just Carl mindsets. So it's like the state of being. But yeah, none of the 7, and all of them I can't deal with anymore. I do still talk to a few of them from time to time. Yeah, because again, like if you go on through your life and completely forget about them, and they pop up like Jason at the end of the movie, or OJ anytime you go to Camp Crystal Lake. OJ Simpson will come up out of the lake if you go to Camp Crystal Lake, smoke, do drugs, drink, have sex premaritally. Like the Carls would pop up from the dead in your messaging if you go on as if they never existed. Like you gotta like not completely just move on ever, because if you do, that's when they come back and try to win you back. You still kind of keep touch with them a little bit, and then you get great stories about how terrible their life is, and then you feel better that you made the right choice. But yeah, none of the Carls were artistically minded. All of the good exes, the ones I still like, were artistic. I will say one of the Carls tried to do some art, and yeah. It was better before, I think, when he just didn't. Because it was not good. And not good in like a way where it's like, he was like, this is what it all means. And I'm like, that's not how art works. You can't decide that this is what your work means. and it was it. I don't know. It was like he went to some sort of like art for therapy class where I mean, I assume it was partly to fulfill his like the court order will say you have to do so much therapy and community service, and I'm assuming that's why he went to that art class, because it was at a community center. It was art therapy. It's the kind of thing you have, you would do if you're trying to get out of going to an actual therapist to figure out why you're an asshole. But I digress. But it was like a finger. He like painted with but it wasn't a finger. He just like it means more because I put my fingers in it. It's actually I'm like, you took Art 101, did you not? Anyway. That's enough about him. I'm going to check messages after that, and there'll be a message from him that'll be like, I'm starting art classes again. And maybe that's amazing. Amazing. 1 through 7, literally. But there are only 2 actual Carls. Yeah, there are a lot of, like one of my exes who was very artistic is also a raging alcoholic, drug addict in like the worst way, where he doesn't think there's anything wrong with him. It's all the rest of us who are the problem. He doesn't have a problem. He can stop at any time, and it's like, but you haven't. And at this point, like, he'll be 50, like 54? No, 56. Yeah. He'll be 56 this year. He started drinking when he was 12, but he doesn't have a problem, even though it's impacted his life in many negative ways. So he can stop anytime, but he hasn't. But he also thinks that if he stops, he won't be creative. And it's just like girly pop. What you are producing, sir, is not very good. Like if you're sober up, maybe it will be better. And when he was younger, he would produce really great pieces even when he was drunk. But I don't think he ever realized that he could probably do much better if he were sober, because it wasn't that the substances made him better. It was that he was able to loosen up enough once upon a time when he was on them to get past his bullshit so he could actually create stuff. But now he's at a point where like the substances are part of his bullshit, so there's no way to get past him as long as he's still doing them. So, but I'm also not his therapist, and I don't date him anymore, so I don't have to. I did my time. He's somebody else's problem. And her name is Rochelle. And we love this for Rochelle. So. She's also way too young for him. I'm just going to say he's like, yeah, he's 56. 56 is right. And she's like 32. And I'm just like, that's a little weird. So anyway, enough about him. But yeah, he's technically a brilliant artist, but he's just a mess and hasn't done anything. He sent me something he recently did, and I'm like, that's something. Good job. I'm glad you're still creating. So he's probably watching this right now. I'm gonna get him angry. I don't think he knows I'm on here though. I would involve him paying attention to somebody that's not himself. All right. I think I maybe overshare on these streams when I'm by myself. So I'll call that a member perk. Not that I have memberships yet, but Allison shares her trauma for free while coloring the Goonies, followed by wood grain today. Yeah, I am definitely not going to finish this today. So that's okay. I will keep it as a weapon. We will work on it on a future stream. So I have no idea what this is, so we're just going to color it like it's some sort of gold object. There we go. Excellent. I keep wanting to rewatch Seinfeld, and I keep not doing it. I'm afraid, like I used to like and enjoy Friends, and then like during the pandemic, it hit one of the streaming services, and I started watching it. And Friends, y'all, has not aged well. And I don't mean everyone wants. Oh, the humor is like obviously I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so like the humor is like my humor. And there are definitely jokes that we would not make now because we know better and we've grown as a people. I think that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But just in general, the whole style of humor just for me doesn't work as much anymore. And I'm afraid that Seinfeld will be the same. The one thing that does give me hope is I have seen a few reels and a few shorts where people like have sort of redone some classic episodes of Seinfeld. And those kind of worked. Like I still laughed at some of it, so I'm hoping it hasn't aged poorly too badly. Because I would like to rewatch Seinfeld. And if I watch it and it has aged poorly, then that'll be another thing from my youth I had lost. So, but we will see. Yeah, see, that's what's funny because the cell phone thing, right? I was because a lot of the kids today, again, we're going to talk about the kids, don't sort of comprehend always that like we didn't, so not everyone had cell phones. Yeah, and even though they started, around 1994-ish, you could buy, like when Clueless came out, you could get a cell phone. They were super expensive, so only like really rich people had cell phones. And like one of my friends in college, she had a car phone, but she also worked, like her dad owned like a multi-million-dollar corporation, and she worked in their HR department and also had to, like would often go on work trips for them. So they put a phone in her car, which like a SeaTac phone or whatever it was they used to call those. Yeah, and it was like like $900 before the installation, and she could only, it was like $10 a minute. So it was obviously only like if there was car trouble or something really important happened. And that was like 94, 95. You know, we all had, a lot of us had beepers because you could sort of do that. And but it wasn't really until really the mid 2000s that everyone started getting cell phones. So, but it's funny because, you know, like most horror movies, somebody was asking me the other day, why do all these new horror movies, why are they all set like in the 80s and the 90s still? And it's like, because half of the scary movies that, you know, like it doesn't work as much without, if you can easily access a cell phone. And so cell phones change a lot about all of that. A lot of, you know, just a lot of it. Like once you can just call it somebody, like it's a lot easier not to go into the scary place to search for your friend if you can just call them on the cell phone and be like, yeah, you call them, and if they're dead and the killer picks up the phone as I come into the mansion, you know not to go in. I mean, I would probably still go. I would be the person where it's like, they're just playing a trick on us. Let's go in there and see what this is all about. Because yeah, I would be Canadian if I were in a horror movie. Some of my favorite horror movies are from Canada. Black Christmas, Happy Birthday to Me, Prom Night, Terror Train, Anne Murray's discography. And that time Bryan Adams tried to go grunge, all from Canada. Excellent. Yeah, I don't like his stand-up either. For me, the show, yeah, it's the other characters for me. Always Seinfeld, I always watched it as if Elaine was the main character. And everyone else was just the wacky, because Jerry works when he's the annoying neighbor. Jerry doesn't work so much as the main character. And I'll, you know, like if you want to fight me for it, it's fine because you're wrong. But Seinfeld works, but for me anyway, always works because I always just, Elaine sort of, I mean, Elaine is also as, at times, just as bad and messed up as they are. But at the same time, she's also sort of a little bit more, she gets worse as the show goes, the more time she spends with them. So, but I used to, I mean, like I can dance all right, but I did at parties used to do the Elaine dance. As you do. Hmm. I am a little bit more all over the place with how I'm doing this than I would be if it were for a video or a short, but just kind of trying to build the picture out, because you know, all that wood grain in the background. And you get the other colors in here so it does not get lost. All right, very good. So I think Steph is carrying some sort of a painting. That's kind of what it looks like. And again, I didn't pay that close attention when I rewatched it, but I'm gonna treat this as if it's the back of a painting. So this is the frame. So I'm gonna do sort of this darker gold with it. And I'm going to do sort of like as if the bottom of that is canvas. And that lighter color will again help sort of prevent this all from sort of blending into that brown. All right, there we go. All right, yeah, that looks good. I'm just starting to look at the how it looks on camera. Yeah, it's a slow slide, a slow slippery slide, but it happens. Let's see. Oh. All right, so we've got like 5 minutes left. So what can I do in 5 minutes? Let's see. I don't know what that is back here. This doesn't look like it's part of Mikey's jacket. So I'm just gonna go in and use some jasmine and some of the sepia. And it's likely some part of the boat, but we'll do that. And I will finish up this windowsill here. Over here too. These are some of the finishing touches on the wood grain that I got too bored to finish up earlier. Yeah, is the part that doesn't show up on time lapse, the part where I'm like, oh my god, I'm so bored of this. I'm working on this background. But that's why I do the backgrounds. Part of why I do the backgrounds first, because if I do the front part first, I often will just be like, yeah, you know, I don't need to do the background. It looks fine. All right. Excellent. Very good. All right. I think this is about as much as we're gonna get today, which is not bad. It's about, say, like 45% at least. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's coming along nicely. Yeah, right. Yeah. Have a good one, 3-star. Yeah, everyone do the Elaine dance. Muchly appreciated, Rowdy. Yep, all wood grain, all the time. All right, so 2 minutes left. So really quick. Wow, I'm looking at it on screen right now. I'm pretty happy. I think it looks pretty good. It'll be fun to finish it. So we're going to quickly go over what's coming up and where you can find me. Let's see. Coming up, tomorrow I have a full-length video dropping. An adult coloring book for Dirty Dancing recently released. I did buy it and color a page. I do a flip through that drops tomorrow. Main reason, one, Dirty Dancing is retro, and it is definitely something I can fit in the channel. But also the artist on it is Elizor, who is one of my favorite adult coloring book artists. And most of her work isn't something I could technically fit into the channel. So when she was like, my Dirty Dancing book is coming out, I'm like, finally, something I can put on the channel. So please check that out. And then check her out on Instagram. On Wednesday, I have a Vintage Care Bears Color and Chill Spectacular dropping, which is 5. That's right, 5 Care Bear pages, about 5 minutes each, single video. Friday, we've got Zodak Vintage Cardback on regular Color and Chill. Saturday is Barbie World of Fashion's Catalog 1979. Saturday night, I will be here doing a special live stream roughly 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Oz from Ostradamus Toys. Also, there is a charity stream coming up that I'm going to be participating in. I will have information for that on my community page, so you can follow me to there and hang out and help with, help. Just watching helps raise funds, even if you can't give money to the charity. Watching the stream, giving them that watch time helps a lot. And then next Sunday, I will be here with Corey from Make, Shape, Create. And we're going to be coloring some of his original Masters of the Universe art. So that'll be fun. And as always, there are way too many shorts. But this week, if you like Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and Magneto, I've got shorts for you. So anyhow. And on that note, yeah, right. Yeah, I have had that in my head quite a bit. Thank you, Riley. Also, I'm going to ping you at some point so we can try to figure out, even if we do have to do a pre-record, but I would love to have you on to color and chat at some point. So we'll figure that out. As always, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being my fun, strange little corner of ToyTube where we color. And talk about nerdy stuff and all the Carls and Bussy. I mean, you're not going to find that on many channels, that combination of things. So I appreciate you. I was, wait, wait, let me do the YouTube voice. Don't forget to smack that like, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Salad and Troy, Retro Toy Princess. I'll see you in the next one.